Pollution. It doesn't recognize boundaries. It doesn't discriminate against people. It affects us all equally. The gap between the environmental status in the Palestinian communities of Judea and Samaria and the environmental status of Israel is large. The treatment and disposal of waste in the Palestinian communities of Judea and Samaria does not meet the accepted criteria set by the State of Israel and other developed countries. The mountain aquifer is one of the most significant sources of water for both Israelis and Palestinians. It slopes from east to west with recharge areas in Judea and Samaria and discharge areas on the other side of the Green Line. It is the single most important source of high-quality water and supplies Israel's major population centers. Due to hydrological characteristics, the mountain aquifer is very vulnerable to groundwater pollution. Waste and sewage run on its surface and percolate into the ground, threatening Israel's vital water resources. Evidence shows that groundwater in some locations has already been polluted.
If the pollution will penetrate and discharge into the aquifer, then we will pump it from the aquifer to supply it to the population, then it will be very dangerous.
The Israeli government has made laws and regulations protecting the environment for the welfare of all of its inhabitants. But many of these laws do not yet apply in Judea and Samaria.
Hebron is a very big problem, but the biggest Palestinian city in Judea and Samaria. Don't treat the wastewater at all. It's going to Nahal Hebron. Nahal Hebron is polluted, and mosquitoes and everything that accompany wastewater.
Since pollution doesn't recognize boundaries and affects us all equally, shouldn't the same environmental laws apply on both sides of the Green Line? Especially when the quality of water on one side is so dependent on the care of the environment on the other. Because a large proportion of the Palestinian community in Judea and Samaria pay little attention to the environment, the area has become a place where waste and even hazardous substances are illegally disposed of for financial gain. The illegal disposal of scrap metals, and especially the burning of metal waste in order to extract copper, which is then sold for profit, is a serious hazard. Poisonous smoke and fumes from these illegal fires pollute the air and affect the health of both Palestinians and Israelis alike. Palestinian-owned gas stations and fuel tanks are unregulated and go without inspections or licensing. Underground leaks go unrepaired, leaving fuel to seep deep into the ground and pollute both the earth and underground water sources.
ברגע שהאקוויפר יעבור את נקודת האיזון ויזדהם, לא ברור אם או איך בכלל ומתי אפשר יהיה לטהר אותו, לנקות אותו ולהשתמש בו.
Greennow is a non-governmental, non-profit organization that is working to bring law and order into the dire environmental, lawless zone of Judea and Samaria. They do this by working to advance environmental legislation in Judea and Samaria, working with governmental and municipal departments in order to eliminate threats to the environment, petitioning the High Court to enforce the existing environmental and protection laws in Judea and Samaria, raising awareness of how important the environment is, especially in a country the size of Israel. From their Jerusalem office, Greennow has been fighting hard since 2008 and are making progress in the complicated battle of enforcing the closure of the dozens of unlicensed gas stations, pirate waste dumps, untreated sewage, and illegal quarries in Judea and Samaria. But legal battles are long and costly, and although Greennow is determined to see changes in the law, additional funding is required to achieve this goal.
זאת עמותה שבאמת אני מייחס לה חשיבות גבוהה, היא פועלת כבר משנת 2008. אנחנו במשרד בהנחייתי משתפים פעולה, מעמיקים את שיתוף הפעולה, ואני שמח לראות מנהיגות אזרחית גם מתוך תושבי יהודה ושומרון שמגלה אכפתיות ופעילות למען ההגנה על הסביבה ובעצם לשיפור איכות החיים של כל תושבי האזור, יהודים ולא יהודים כאחד.
The protection of the environment is always an important issue. But in this case especially, where the condition of the environment in Judea and Samaria has such a direct effect on the whole of Israel. Isn't this one battle that no one can afford to lose?